All right, welcome to this episode of the Melk and Cookies podcast, where today's guest is a very good friend of mine. He is an individual who's been making tech content for, I think 4 or 5 years now, and he does it very different than everyone else. He makes it very entertaining, and he really pulls you into his madness. Of course, I'm talking about the owner of ThePrimeagen, the Clipagen, the Primetime, and the ThePrimeagen YouTube channels, as well as the ThePrimeagen Twitch channel. My guest is none other than ThePrimeagen, former Netflix employee there for I believe it was 10 years, and then took the plunge earlier in 2024 to go full time. And I think it was one of the best decisions he could have made. So hope you guys enjoy this episode. This is me and ThePrimeagen just kicking back, talking, and really asking him a question about his journey into programming and his journey into the tech creation space. So hope you all enjoy. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. See ya.
And if you need me to, I can do it, but I am going to have to charge, as that is one of the premium Primeagen features, not just some free tier feature. Okay, bud?
Okay, bud. Okay, cool. And now I'm here. You kind of, you know what's funny? I can just move you around like this,
Yeah, I know you can. Look at me, not even trying to even react to you doing that.
Oh my god, I don't even know where to put you. You without a background looks kind of weird, man. I don't know. Should I put you there? Okay,
I think people think this is my stream now.
Oh man. Okay, this is good. It's because everyone else who's been on this podcast has a background, right? Technically, you do too. You're just on a green screen. I just put a filter on you, so it's it's easy. I can definitively see the square, and I'll put my square on the bottom, and then the guest square on the top. But now you're just gonna be this person who's like an Elden Ring boss on top. So that's what it is. But
yeah,
dude,
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I am a little bit bigger than you though.
Yeah, you are. You're definitely taller. You are definitely taller than me. I don't know bigger in terms of the musk, the girth and the width, as most people enjoy it. But yeah, you're definitely taller.
I was talking about my camera image.
Yeah, me too. No, I was talking about that too. I like the way you are right now, so I'm gonna keep you.
Thank you. I like the way I am too.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep you.
All right. So I gotta be real here for a second.
Hit me.
I gotta go pee.
You gotta go pee?
Yeah, can I go pee?
Yeah, do your thing. I mean, you just finished. I'm surprised that you did a stream for that long. Yeah, go do your thing. Go relax. Go say hi.
I do 5 hours a day.
That's crazy. Yeah, do your thing. Come back. I'll keep everyone warm.
I'm gonna do so many things.
I'll keep yeah, please. I'll keep everyone warm. Yeah, I'll keep them excited.
I'll keep everyone warm.
Okay, so yeah, for those who don't know what's happening, I don't blame you.
Where's my phone?
He's getting his phone. His balls are everywhere. I want to say, first of all, before we go any further, I want to give a big thank you to Unhappy Engineer 2 for the 5 gifted T1s. NWN is working. Thank you for T1. Please Chill Caleb. Thank you for T1. Thank you for all the followers. Thank you Buttpicker12 for the 5 T1s. You guys really are phenomenal. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I am going to get banned this stream. This is the stream where Primeagen is going to ban me, ladies and gentlemen. But if you don't know what's going on, my name is Melkey. I would assume some of you may know who I am because Primeagen always, gives a raid. I do collabs with him. But if you don't know, I work for Twitch. I do streaming content, whatever. You guys, who cares? What you should be interested in is the Melk and Cookies podcast. So it's a podcast that I do, and I have people from I am an internet Twitch. This is true. I have people from different tech spheres coming to this podcast, this live podcast. And obviously we watch Prime all the time, but I don't think all of us get an opportunity to ask him some different questions. Yo, Sake, thank you for that T1 for 9 months. That's officially a baby. Live with Prime, Melk, and Cookies. So now I gotta do some things. I gotta do this. I gotta add an image. How do you add images to Discord? Upload a file. Am I old? What am I able? No. Let's go here. There you go. Okay, we're gonna bother the Discord. Discord has been bothered officially. Now we're gonna go bother the tweeters. Do you post recordings of the podcast? Yeah, I do. We take the recordings of the podcast. You know, splash them up a little bit. Splish splash. How do you do? How the fuck are ya? You know. You should have your background as pick. Just mirror and place Prime there. I kind of like him as like a floating ball entity right now. You know. Melk and wait. The ThePrimeagen interview. You know what I mean? Like I love Prime when he's on a ball on top of me. There's nothing better than that. Let's go here. I'm super unprepared because I thought this was gonna happen in half an hour, but now we're doing it. You know what's funny? I've interacted with Prime so many times. I still get nervous. with the guy. I don't know why. The ThePrimeagen interview. Let's grab this. Boom, boom. We don't even need to put the Melk and Cookies. Actually, let's put the Melk and Cookies. Melk and Cookies podcast. Cool. Too long. Put this here. Put this like so. That doesn't look good. Let's go like this. Add the alert. Boom. And okay, you know what? Love me or hate me, you can't say this isn't a banging thumbnail. This thumbnail, I actually cooked. Probably because he built very, very big deal. Yeah. Look at this. This is actually a cooked thumbnail. Okay. Change the arrow of the image? No, I think we're both on time. I know it still says it. Do I change it live? Okay, we're changing it. We're doing it live. We're doing it so live.
Hey.
What's up? You back?
Yeah, nice box art. Where'd you make that?
Canva, dude. I made it dude, this is from scratch.
Really?
Yeah.
You like FFmpeg'd all those images together?
Yes. Made the whole background myself. Took a minute. Hold on, I'm doing a live tweet. Oh, wait. Yeah, the date's good. I gotta do a live tweet. Everybody loves a good live tweet, you know? Go here. Shove this over here. Boom, boom. Do I tag you? No, I'm not gonna tag. Should I tag you? What do you think?
Oh, dude, tag, bag.
You're the master at this stuff, so.
I'm really not. I don't actually care.
ThePrimeagen. The Prime Agency. Okay, cool.
I really don't care. I just enjoy.
Boom.
I just enjoy my life and do what I want to do. And if I want to do it away, I just do it. I try not to think too hard about the whole marketing side of thing. Yeah, there's this whole like optimization thing people do. And I'm not quite convinced it actually works.
Why do you think it doesn't work though?
I'll give you a good example.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna just write this down and I'm ready. Now let's go.
No, you tell me when you're ready.
Melk and Cookies episode 5. While you were gone, I did the whole spiel intro. Posted everywhere. We're live. We're recording. The vibes are high. We got chat buzzing. Chat's buzzing right now. So yeah, I'm ready, baby. Let's go.
Thuming. They're thuming. They're ready.
Let's go.
That's what the kids say, right? Do they still say thumin? Is that still cool, or does that just not work
cool.
anymore?
No, that's not cool. Stop.
Okay, you busted? Do you say busted?
We're busted.
Busted. Let's go.
Oh, wait. By the way, do you like the fact that on ping, do you see that my camera on ping right now?
Yeah, I see your camera.
This is a PS3 webcam. So, Chad, you don't see this, but Prime is watching me through like the grossest camera. Imagine. Flip!
And what is Flip doing? Hey, Flip, don't be doing that.
Dude, Flip just flipped the script 25. Woohoo!
Damn, Flip.
Let's go.
Yeah, Flip's charging that to Prime.
Yeah, I saw that. What's up? Shout out TJ. Okay. Melk and Cookies podcast sponsored by everyone that you love and enjoy and designing data intensive applications. Let's go. Let's get this over with. Prime, I love you. Thank you for coming in.
Do we have to get it over with? Do we have to say it that way? It makes me feel like we're
No, I want to do like, like the action, like, isn't that what they say? Like, ready, like lights, ready, action, like.
I don't know exactly what they say, but they say something along those lines.
Yeah.
Lights, camera.
Lights,
action,
camera. Yes, you need to say it back. Lights, camera, action. So it's like, now we're professional. But yeah, dude, I appreciate you doing this. I know last couple of weeks for you were crazy busy.
They were, unfortunately.
Trying to find some time to squeeze this in. And you know what's, I realized this when you posted a picture of, like, you got Lego for your kids. It's like, obviously doing content and then traveling takes a lot of time, right? That's just like, you are doing your thing. That takes time. But also, it's removing time that you would love to spend, like, with your family and just doing stuff for yourself, right?
Yeah.
So it's not only finding a window where you're not traveling or not doing other stuff, but it's also finding the window where it's after the traveling, you got to go spend time with your loved ones, do your thing, and then it's like, okay, cool, I'm like back to like a normal cadence. Let's do a stream together. So yeah, I'm happy we found something that worked, man.
Yeah, I am too. I like you, Melk.
I love you too. Well, you said like, I said love, so that's awkward.
Yeah, no, we have different levels of commitment, but I understand. Maybe you're a little bit more eager. I get it.
I feel you just don't want to say it publicly. I feel like we are on the same level entirely of our commitments, but when it comes to like people watching, like, yeah, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna keep it cool, keep it classy, take it slow.
Yeah, I think this relationship's asymmetric. That's all.
Asymmetric. But okay, tell me, what are you saying? Why don't you think marketing, like strategic marketing, doesn't actually work?
When I think it comes to like cult personalities, because that's what streaming's all about, is cult personalities, right?
Okay.
You kind of develop this like community. People want to be around it. It usually involves things you say, the energy you bring. Like, you don't want to be a Fortnite Andy, the guy that has to play Fortnite, and then the moment he quits playing Fortnite, nobody watches him because they only like him for skill set, not for who he is, that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
And so when it comes to that kind of stuff, I'd say the biggest obvious difference, or the biggest obvious, is that someone like Pirate Software. I know he has all these really great ideas about how to do all these things, and he's hacking the algorithm, but I would personally just say the reason why he's winning is he's just good. Right? Like, I don't really think all those other things matter as much. I think just putting out content over and over and over again for a long enough period of time, he's an instant overnight success in 7 years. And it's just like one of those things of just doing it consistently year after year. It's just that he had the time and the opportunity to kind of hit that right luck chord, that he had all that vast stuff behind him, and it just like, look, maybe you could do it quicker. But the thing is the reason why I'm always a little bit hesitant about doing it quicker is that you never really had all that time to marinate and to become really good at something. Instead, you're just trying to like hack the algorithm, get out there as quick as possible. Yeah. And it's just like, maybe you just weren't ready for it. And maybe your time to shine came too soon. And then, well, now look at it.
And now you fizzle out.
And then you fizzle. You fizzle because then all of a sudden you popped up and then went back down and everything was sad.
Yeah. Or
anyways, those are just my thoughts about it. Which, like, I've been making content. I've been live streaming. I put hold on. Let's go to Twitch. TwitchTracker.com/ThePrimeagen. Sorry, it has like some sort of Cloudflare front, so it takes like 4 hours to load.
Yeah.
But let's see. There's some sort of way. I have put in. Let's see, what is it? Followers. I have streamed 1,600 hours in science and tech, 1,500 hours in software and game development, 400 hours in just chatting, 400 hours in Fortnite, 250 hours in Apex, 93 hours in Call of Duty,
that's
Black
insane.
Ops 4. And that's not the other categories as well. There's other categories, but like, that just took so much time before something else happened. You know what's crazy? I love okay, so this is what I want to actually ask you about. I didn't so much want to ask you like more about like the tech side of things. Obviously, you and I want to take a step back. You and I have known each other for like 4 years, right?
Yeah,
like
I think I just did my sub to you, and it was a while ago. Here, I'm gonna just do AOU.
I think it was like 50 months or something.
Yeah, 50 month sub.
Yeah, and it's crazy because when I first started streaming, you were like, I don't know how, but you're like, oh, like, I like what you're doing, keep doing it. I was like, oh, awesome, like, the biggest streamer in the category is someone to do it. Like, I must be doing something good, right? And then over the years, obviously, you and I have both done it, continued it. But what's crazy to me, and how you like use Pirate Software as an example, and what you said was like he's a 7-year overnight success. And what I love about that is because I've seen you go from a channel that was never big into YouTube, having like 150 live viewers, to then go to like, I remember these steps distinctly in my brain. You went from like 150 average viewers, which was like this was massive, right? To 600.
Especially in Science and Tech during those days. Science and Tech was like 1,000 total people in the category, and 400 of them were watching the chickens.
Exactly. Yeah, the chicken streams. Like back then in 2019, 2020-ish, if you had like 30 to 50 in Science and Tech, you were like considered one of the bigger streamers. Like you were like, holy, like that's a lot of people watching. So Prime, you were like at 150, and then once you invest in YouTube, I remember you went on this jump to like 600 live viewers. Everyone was like, holy crap, that's insane. And then you did another jump to like 1.2, 1.3. You were there, and now you've again went to another level of like 2000s and onwards, and we'll see where you are looking in the future. And it's crazy because I've seen the steps, right? I've seen you do something massive, you hover at that level, and then you beat yourself again. You go to the next level. And it's not overnight. You can see the things that you do. You can see the stuff that you try. So do you ever get people now, because you're reaching a bigger audience, coming to your stream or YouTube, just like, oh man, like I wish I could, be the level where you are, or like, how did you get to the level you are? Like, how do you have to explain that? It's like, dude, this has been like a long time cooking, and lots of things have been tried.
I think we talked about this, which is that obviously you have to do it for a long time, and the big thing is that you have to do it because you like to do it, and you just have to keep on doing it because you like to do it, and you have to do the thing you want to do, and you have to show the world what you like to do. And maybe when you show the world, nobody else likes it.
Right.
But maybe when you show the world, everybody likes it. And to some varying degree, somewhere between, most people fall. Like they're somewhere on that axis. Like I don't think I'll ever be a Kai Cenat. Right, like I just don't think there's gonna be 150,000 people watching me program in Zig. Right, I just don't think that audience. Well, I mean, who wouldn't want numbers go burr, right? Like everybody would like to have a sweet YouTube page with 1 trillion bajillion followers, right? But that's just not the reality or the world that I live in, because that's just not a world that's available. But I still enjoy it.
Yep,
I'm still liking it.
But so, what do you think? Do you think it's always like a moving goalpost, Prime? Like, how you just compared yourself to Kai Cenat, who is like on the extreme end of like the content creation success. Like let's say him, Mr. Beast are like on the extreme, like the 0.00001% content creators to get to that level. But I would bet you, like back in 2019, when you were repping up, when you were like, let's say like 200 live concurrent viewers or something, your goalpost realistically wasn't the Kai Cenat's Mr. Beast. It was probably someone who was, getting 1,000 live concurrent viewers, right? Like, okay, how am I going to get to that individual? Can I even do it, right? So do you think content creation, as you get bigger, and as we like even bring in Pirate Software, someone who was, he had a good content, he had a good viewership, everything, but then he finally broke that glass ceiling that's been holding him down, and he's like now hitting numbers which are like astronomical. Do you think it's just a moving goalpost, right? Like now that you've hit that number, what's the next one? Once you hit that one, is it just keep moving and moving and moving?
One of the worst times in my life was when I got 100,000 subs on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, because it took like 3 years to get there. And I remember getting there, and there's like all this magic about being like, man, I'm going to get there. It's going to be so awesome.
Yeah.
And then I get there, and then it's just like...
It's flaccid?
It's just flaccid. It's just like, all right, well, I guess we got there. Now what? Right? Like there is no ending ground, which I think is something that you have to kind of come to terms with.
Yeah.
Is that at some point, I mean, people that say, oh, just don't care, obviously you have to care somewhat.
You do.
Right? Because you wouldn't keep on doing it if you just... I'm just saying that people who just keep on making stuff and nobody ever watches it, eventually they stop, right? That's just not...
Absolutely.
And if people keep on watching it, eventually they stop too, because they just can't keep on going. But nonetheless, you make stuff because you want to show people at some point. And I really liked Vim, so I wanted to show people Vim. Yep. I know, super cool, right? And I'd be pretty impressed if you were me and I were you. But
what I came to the conclusion was, or with terms was, is that I shouldn't be so concerned about that, and I need to make stuff because I really enjoy it, and then just let it out there and see what happens right now. And that's it. To try not to get too wrapped up. So whenever I'm streaming, I turn off all the numbers. I just don't even want to see it. I don't even want to look at it, because if I look at it, I mean, it's just such a stupid and annoying thing of life, is that when I was at 100 viewers, man, 200 would have been so sweet.
Yeah.
But if I got only 200 viewers today, I'd feel like, oh my gosh, I failed.
Exactly.
It's just awful. It's just an awful thing. So I just try not to look at it. Just try not even to think about it. It doesn't exist. It's not there. And just do what I have to do and enjoy the moment of doing it and not anything else.
Dude, I like, you know how that shit impacts me, right? Like, you and I've had these conversations. Big shout out to you and TJ and everyone else who was there for me when I hit like a pretty nasty snag when it comes to the metrics and being absorbed in the metrics. It does like eat you, like, I guess I can only speak for myself, but it is sincerely like a pretty tough thing to get right or to balance. Because yeah, even when you live stream, you look at the numbers, like, okay, cool. Like, if I'm doing like 300 or 100, you're like, okay, I'm either 3 times better than my average or 3 times worse than my average. Depending on what the average value is. And same on YouTube, right? If you upload YouTube videos and then like you get that like 10 out of 10 metric, you're like, oh man, like I completely goofed.
Yeah.
And after talking to you guys, and I think just being a little bit more mature, just overall, because I started streaming way young. I was like way too, I had like very unrealistic expectation of what was happening. I kind of thought, oh, I'm just gonna do it and I'll grow no matter what, but it really doesn't work like that. You do have to put like effort into the quality, into how you do it, into who you are delivering the content to. And that advice that just like, turn it all off. You can even see here, I don't have my viewers on, I don't have subscribers, sub points, all that's kind of just turned off. And for YouTube, I just judge how well a video does based on like the comments now, because I don't upload as frequently as other people. So I upload a video, I don't look at the YouTube studio channel like, is it gonna be 1 of 10 or 2 of 10? That stuff was just like so toxic. I just look on like engagement. If I upload a video and I get like a ton of comments, in my mind, regardless of the viewership, I know people are engaging, and I know hopefully it's gonna be a good engagement. Versus if I upload a video and it's a stinker and no one comments, I know without even looking at the views, okay, this is probably not a banger of a video.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
It's a good way. It's a good idea. I like that idea. I still look at the things. I don't really look. I'm sure there's plenty of things that I could fix and make better. But the only thing that I've been really thinking about is just how to tell that story better. How do you tell a story that's actually engaging to people? Instead of being concerned about telling a story or telling the story that you think people want to hear. Tell a story that you think is really well told. Like, how would I tell this? If I had to go do a presentation in front of 1,000 people, think about how much time and effort and how many times you would walk through that and like how well you'd put that together. And that's because you have a different expectation. Whereas I think YouTube, you're so abstracted away from that, even though like you could have like 100,000 people see, which is just a giant, that's like a football stadium. But you don't think in that kind of concept that you're like, oh, I'm about to give a presentation at a football stadium. And so it's like, that's kind of the thing I've been adopting lately. It's just like, how do I make people like it more, but how do I make me do it better?
Yeah. And I think a good example of that is the video posted on the ThePrimeagen channel, the Doom one, 1,000 players, 1 game of Doom. That video was, from my perspective, I can tell right away it's a Prime video. It's just a ThePrimeagen video. Whether you're reacting to something Prime or whether you're making like a more polished, let's say quote unquote scripted, or with a script video, more of like a direction, I'd say. I can tell it's your video very easily. But the Doom one, it felt like a very well put together video in terms of how the story was told and like the obstacles you faced as you faced them when you were creating Doom, when you're getting Twitch to interact with it. So I think a question for me is, when you have this idea of what you want to do, let's say it was Doom, before you even have the video, before you even wrote like a couple of lines of code, do you know like, hey, I want this as a video and I need to make sure I package it as like a story as opposed to get it done and get it used?
I try not to let myself be driven too hard by deadlines or anything like that. And I try not to, I just, it's just like, I'm just trying to adopt the conference speaking mentality. That's it.
Yep.
And just like, I'll record something and I'll go, okay, I did it. And then I'll get upset and be like, I feel like I could have done better. So I'll just re-record it. And then I'll get upset and I'll re-record and I'll re-record it until I really feel like I did the right thing. And that's it. I don't try to, I've been really trying to slow down and not being so caught up in trying to go as fast as possible.
I see. What do you mean by?
I just don't think it's. I don't think it's really worthwhile. I don't think the volume of content is a great. I mean, Michael Reeves obviously proves this, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to have a high volume of content to be good at it.
For sure. And so, but you kind of do both. You balance both because you have the Primeagen channel, which, again, maybe you can speak on this, but the Primeagen channel seems to be more of those storytelling, like, they are pieced together. Yeah. Whereas you have the Primetime channel where you're uploading way more, and you're uploading maybe this content that's like, may not have the most in-depth editing, but it's like you watching something, giving a reaction, uploading it, packaging it, and uploading to this. So you are kind of balancing both of those elements of YouTube content creation right now.
Yeah. And
how does that feel? Like, how do you think you're going to sustain both of those, or do you think one will win the battle in the long term? Like, if on an infinite kind of time series?
Well, I mean, infinite time series, neither wins. But, but I enjoy both, and I enjoy them for different reasons.
Okay. What are the reasons?
So if, the thing that makes like the Primetime one where I do like article reads and talk through the thoughts and all that, I think that makes it so good is that it's about distributing experience. Like, I just don't, the problem about a lot of videos is it's more about like the experience of making something versus like, here is my life experience. They're very, very different.
Okay.
Right? You can't quite give the same ideas through the same medium. And I think that when you make these main channel videos and you're trying to display like wisdom that way, I think it often falls through the cracks. It's never as good. And it becomes these like really rigid topics like imposter syndrome, which is like, imposter syndrome really doesn't need a video to talk about it.
Right.
Instead, a momentary blip along the road about imposter syndrome probably does a lot more for most people than a video on imposter syndrome. And so it's like, so the Primetime one is like, how do I filter down experience? And then the Primeagen is more like, how do I tell a story? How do I try to figure out how to tell a better story?
Right.
And so like, I'm very, very excited. I have 2 videos coming up on my main channel that I've been working on. I got probably about 100 more hours or 200 more hours of programming that I still have to go through. And then I'll be able to, do the story. And it's going to be 2 videos. And I'm super pumped up about it.
Yeah. And I was talking about this on my stream yesterday or a week ago, where I was glazing you up or whatever, right? I was pumping your tires.
You glazed me. Yeah.
I glazed you, man. I glazed you. But in
like
all seriousness, and I hate doing that. I hate glazing you, man. You glazed enough. But I have to admit, one thing that you say a lot of things, but one thing that really resonated with me lately.
I do say a lot of things, by the way.
You say a lot of things. You are known to say quite a lot of things. But one thing that you said that really stood out with me is kind of how you're like, let's say, for example, with Zig right now. You don't know, you didn't have the biggest experience with Zig. You're not, you just picked it up, other languages way better than Zig, but you kind of just said, you know what, F this, I'm just going to use it to build this game. And that's all you do. You don't like, oh man, yeah, Zig is a bad choice. Let me kind of go back on it. Or maybe building a video game with Zig probably isn't the best thing. I could probably do something easier. But you're just like, yeah, no, I want to do this thing. And I'm going to go balls deep and do it. And I'm going to clock in those 100 hours, right? How do you kind of stay on that track? Because tons of people would probably say, yeah, no, I'm going to use a different language to build a video game. Zig's just not the one, or Zig is too, define too many problems with the language itself. So how do you kind of just burst through it and stay on that track?
Well, first, a very important thing, and this is going to come as a bit of a shocker, is maturity does help. Being able to say no to how I may feel in the moment, because there's a couple times where I'm just like, F Zig.
Yeah.
F Zig. Screw Andrew Kelly, screw Twitter, I hate Mastodon, right? Like I was ready to just throw it all in, I was ready to toss it all out, go back to my love language Go for a little while.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want to do that. I was like, no, I really wanted to do this because I wanted to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And there comes this magical point. I usually refer to it as like the hidden knowledge of something, where even if you're like making eggs, if you've made enough eggs, there comes this point where you've made enough eggs that you can start actually making certain types and certain styles. If you want the bottom a little bit more crispy, the edges a little bit more crispy, like, right? You start like learning these little techniques, and you start to recognize. I can look at an egg and be like, oh, okay, it has this much time. Like I can just tell. I can tell what's happening. I know what's happening. I've just done it enough time for my kids to know everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this little hidden knowledge of doing something. And so Zig contains a bunch of hidden knowledge of building and how it feels and all that. And once I started getting going, I'm like, oh, okay, actually, I really like this. Oh, okay, I actually really like this. And now I kind of have the quote unquote, a little bit, not like a ton. I'm not like a master of any kind or even much beyond a novice. But I have this pretty good picture of kind of how to build a couple thousand, 10,000 line software with Zig. And it's like, it becomes really fun, and it becomes this own thing onto itself.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, this is cool. I like this. I want to use this more. And here's something that just like Go can't do that I find super pleasing. Oh, I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I really like the control over the stack versus the heap. You can still totally screw yourself, right? Like a very simple thing is I can just return a reference to something I created on the stack, and then it just gets ruined, right? Classic, accidentally ruined yourself via the stack. So that's like it's totally available to do. You just can't do that in Go in the same way. So it's just like, okay, you forget about some of these like smaller things that you have to think of, and it's just that hidden knowledge that once you get good at it and you start moving fast, you appreciate the control, which at one point was an obstacle, becomes something you appreciate.
And do you think when you say maturity, is experience part of that like answer? Like I know maturity and experience are two different things, but do you think your experience as a software engineer for, the time that you've been doing it, not only professionally or even on stream, but do you think that helps you kind of quote unquote suck it up when you do feel these hardships with Zig? Be like, you know what? Now let me dedicate some more time to this. Let me appreciate what they're trying to do here, and let me give it a fair chance to kind of continue. Or do you think that you're just like, you know what? Now that I have this goal and I've said I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it no matter what. No matter how bad it is for me, I want to kind of push through it because I told myself I can do this.
It's a little bit of both. Like, I mean, the second one's probably more true than the first one in the sense that this is what I wanted to do, so therefore I'm going to do it. And I will change my mind now and then. Like Vim APM, I changed my mind about doing that one because as I thought about it more, it actually became one of the hardest things for me to make. Whereas some of the easier things to make, I wanted to go first. So that's why I started with Doom, because the Doom one, it was actually the easiest because it's all focused on networking. So now that I kind of have this idea of networking and basic stuff done, I can move on to making more things. And then I can improve upon the networking and the compression and all that as I walk, as opposed to having to do all of that plus a whole bunch of input and all that. So now this one's involving ChatGPT and Twitch chat. Like, how do you have multiple or maybe two sets of Twitch? Building the complexity as I walk. And so I knew I wanted to do this. And since this is kind of going to be like the base of the things I'm going to be building over the next 6-7 months, I didn't want to like. This is where the maturity kicks in. It's just like, I'm just going to finish it. Like, that's that. I will just simply finish it. It doesn't matter about how I feel in the moment. It doesn't matter about what I want to do. I'm just going to finish it, and that's that.
And that's that. You kind of just like, I'm going to do this regardless of how hard it could be.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know what it is, because I've also, like, I know some people, myself included, like, we've also, like, we would love to do a lot of these things, right? Like, okay, I have this goal, I want to build it no matter what. And then you just get hit with this, like, obstacle. And it could be just, like, a performance issue. It could be just, like, infrastructure you're using, but there's nothing, there's, like, so many different reasons of something that can go wrong. And you're just, like, you feel like you're stuck. You feel like you've hit, like, the great wall of, like, damn, there's no way for me to solve this. Like, I feel just defeated. That's the best word I can use. Defeated is a word that, like, comes to mind when you get to a problem where you think you can't solve it, right? But I think it's kind of what kind of you said is like almost time in the saddle, TITS baby. If you kind of just continue to plug away, continue to focus and research, I think you could probably solve most software issues that you face, or maybe not. I don't know.
Well, you can always, I mean, generally speaking, you can always solve everything. You rarely actually get an NP complete problem, an actually non-solvable problem beyond, like 20 inputs, right? Like you can't do the traveling salesman for all United States. It's just not possible. Like the end, it's factorial time. It's just not possible. So therefore you can't do that. That's like a literally impossible thing, but you can approximate it. You can get close enough. And whenever I hit these hurdles and all that, I just always think back to the time in which I didn't know how to do recursion. Recursion was really hard. Recursion's really easy.
Yep.
Recursion felt very hard. Now it feels really easy. Right? It's just like, okay, just remember that as time goes on, I will be able to solve these problems that feel insurmountable now, and then later they'll feel easy.
Yeah. It's like one of those classic things with people in software engineering. One of the best feelings for me, it's like when I solve a bug that I've been stuck on for like a couple of days. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just like, oh, I can't solve this. Like, it's just impossible. No Stack, before the days of ChatGPT, like no Stack Overflow thread is working. No weird forum on a website that you've never really heard of is working from this random Linux kernel developers helping you. But then one day, you just like, it pieces together. You kind of like go back to your history. You go relook at this article that you see. You kind of put it pieces together, and then bang, it works. And the problem you were dealing with that's been basically slapping your bum cheeks for a little bit resolved, and you moved on. And then that feeling of like, oh my God, I didn't quit. I actually beat it. And it works is like one of the greatest feelings I could ever put into words. It's just like, oh, like it's like a feeling of pride that you stuck with it and you completed it.
Yeah. So there was this, one of the 2.5 years ago, I was building something at Netflix that was on one side, it was a JavaScript library in which would take in a 30-second MP4 file, and would split it up into a bunch of packets, and then send over the audio and the video, and then loop that in such a way that I can keep on sending the video.
Right.
And then I would send the video through our real-time video system that we were developing, such that we can kind of performance test and bug test and simulation test out real-time video going through Netflix. And so I'm like, okay, I could build this whole front end, but I need to be able to build a back end as well, so that when we're playing, I know that like good things are happening or bad things are happening.
Okay.
And so what I would do is that I would from the front end, I'd have a bunch of control. Like, hey, this is the current timestamp. Hey, this is what I'm sending you. Hey, all this kind of stuff. And then on the back end, I'd have all this kind of like moving forward that needed to happen, and I could walk the time through by certain amounts.
Right.
And so that way I could actually kind of like vary how much the the packets are coming in and all that, making sure that like the actual real-time player is, say, buffering enough audio so that if I go 25 milliseconds as opposed to 20 milliseconds without receiving a frame of audio, it doesn't cause the popping sound and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It can do all of that measurements. And one thing I learned is that after like 16,000 frames or 160,000 frames or whatever it was, I'd always get this off by one error. And it was so dang frustrating. And I couldn't figure out how to fix this off by one error.
Right.
And it just kept on going. And after like days of looking and thinking about it, I realized I had to add this idea of slippage in, which is that at the microsecond level, when you're doing frames, after so many frames, a millisecond or a nanosecond becomes a microsecond. A microsecond becomes a millisecond. And if you're going to pipe in 2 days worth of video and audio, nanoseconds make a huge difference.
And so it literally slips.
Like a separate counter. Yeah, it literally slips, and it will oopsie daisy a frame every so often, but it's like such huge distances. You're like, how are you off every 25,000 frames? You're just like, dude, I have no idea. Why does it do it? But it's consistent, so I know I've done something wrong. And it all came down to the fact that I wasn't keeping a separate counter strictly for nanoseconds. And every time I had nanoseconds, every time that would sum up to a microsecond, I would then add that in and I'd restart myself. So that way I know that I'm getting like the proper the proper thing so I wouldn't lose a microsecond every
however long, every 1600, every like 160,000 frames you said or something.
Yeah, it was just a huge number because you know there'd be like 330 nanoseconds per frame that I was missing. And so that means every 3 frames it'd be 999 nanoseconds, and then by the 4th frame that's a microsecond. So then you do another 1,000 times that thing, so another 4,000 frames, and now you have 1 millisecond. You're probably not going to skip a frame or drop something due to a millisecond loss, but you do that another 10 times.
It adds
now
up.
Now all of a sudden you're at 10 milliseconds difference from where you thought you should be versus where you are now. Now audio maybe at 60 milliseconds, because usually you do like a 60 millisecond buffer. By the time 60 milliseconds gets through, now you've officially hit that limit where you will cause the whole system to like fumble because you say it's fumbling.
Yep. And a company like Netflix that handles that much traffic, that much data, that many packets, like that matters a lot, right? It's like you can't have these things kind of keep slipping. But
it was all for testing. It was all for testing the internals, which did catch bugs.
Yeah.
But it's just like even the testing utils had bugs. And they're so hard to find, and it's just like there's no reason that I could think of, because I don't write video. I don't do any of that kind of crap. I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm building this like fake TV, this software layer of TV that would run on a TV that wouldn't actually be a TV, that had to look like a TV. It had all the ideas of looking and acting like a TV, and it's all in C. Right, so I'm programming it all in C. There's no C++, right? It's just like C. So I'm just raw dogging structs and pointers.
Just raw dogging it.
And it was great.
How would you even find, when you were just saying about the TV thing? It reminded me of that meme of the one you posted earlier about Go iterators. Go iterators, like, we heard you like a function. We put a function in your function that returns a function. It's like. But how would you even come up, like you just said, you're not like a video guy. That's not something knowledge that you would have, right? How would you find the solution to that after like banging your head on the desk for X amount of time? How would you go back and be like, okay, wait, this was the problem? Was it like just scraping the internet to find someone who's faced this issue before? Or like, how would you even like isolate it to that particular nanosecond issue?
Print F debugging.
Classic, dude. Classic.
No, real talk. It was just it literally, I built something that would actually ASCII art out a timeline. And it was just like megabytes of ASCII art. That I was just like scrolling through trying to figure out why this, and then once I saw that it was that it was just slightly off.
Then you knew.
Man.
Do you use a debugger at all?
Not often. I only use debuggers on things that like make sense to use a debugger. Like sometimes you just get into this part where it's just like a really simple state problem.
Yep.
And so but often I just find printf is more than enough, because I know the bug exists here. It starts somewhere here. It ends somewhere here.
Right.
I involve these 7 variables. So ping, 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 ping. Let it run like 15 times so I can watch the state change and just go okay. There it is.
And track it.
Yeah. Typically, I find those things to actually be a lot easier.
Yeah, I personally like. I love using just the print. I don't really use debuggers that often. I just kind of do all reliable console.log or printline, printf, and then I'm on my way. And you can like isolate the problem like that. Same, yeah. A lot of people in chat say the same things. It seems like it's like maybe debatable, like using a debugger or not, but whatever. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. But on that topic, something I want to get your opinion on is obviously you're in tech Twitter. You're in the tech world. You've dealt with a lot of people at work, other content creators, and people on the internet. What's your kind of raw dog thoughts, your SQL thoughts on how butthurt people can get on certain opinions? Like honestly, like some of the funniest ones that I know of are like using Tailwind or not using Tailwind. Or, Vim versus, or NeoVim versus not NeoVim, or whatever it is, right? Or like using a specific language and not using a particular language. Like, people go crazy for that. And I did a little experiment where I posted something stupid, like Postgres is better than Tailwind. Like, people were up in arms for that. What's kind of like your take on strong opinions that people have and how it could rub people in a different way?
I just like when there is something that's very funny when someone just loses their marbles on the internet.
Yeah.
Especially over like something that's like obviously dumb. Like really obviously dumb. Like Postgres is better than Tailwind. Like this is the problem of, I think that's called a context-free grammar, right? It's just like I'm not sure. I never remember if context sensitive is the over one of context free versus I think it's whatever one, the one where you can make sentences.
Yeah.
And use all the nouns and adverbs and adjectives and everything, but it actually doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
And that's what you did, is you made a sentence that made no sense. And
Zero.
Somehow someone got hurt.
Dude.
And so for me, that's funny.
A plethora of people. And you know what's crazy? I realized this afterwards. I pissed off two opposing sides of people. I pissed off the Tailwind people and the Postgres people, because the Postgres people, even though I said they're better than Tailwind, they're like, how are you comparing Postgres to Tailwind? And then Tailwind people were just upset because I said Tailwind is less than something else, right? So I pissed off both people in this like trajectory. And the funniest thing is I woke up, like scratched my face, got a cup of coffee, and I had the idea I'm going to post something silly and stupid. Like I was like, that's the goal, right? So I thought, what could it be? Put a couple characters, tweet it, put the phone down. And I knew right away, like 27 seconds later, I like picked up my phone. I had like 70 notifications from Twitter. I'm like, okay, this is the one, boys. We got it.
We got him. Yeah, I mean, I did one which, because I knew that I could, if I just say it right, I could get people really upset.
Yeah.
I like the joke in which people who are just like normal people laugh at it because it's stupid, and then the people that just can't. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's some neurodivergent word that we can all use to describe this person, but it's just like they see something out of line and they cannot handle it.
Yep.
And so my last tweet that I did that with, which is Rust is complicated C++, Zig is convenient C, TypeScript is Walmart C#, Go is Scratch for adults.
Yeah.
It's just like I just knew that there was enough of those words in there just to make somebody angry. Like someone's gonna be like, "Go Scratch for adults." It's just like. Really? You're going to get upset about that? Like, that's the one that you got upset about? And it's just so funny because it's a pointless nonsense, except for the TypeScript is Walmart C#. That one actually is a fairly accurate statement.
That one's a banger.
But the rest are, like, very, very...
that one's a banger.
They don't make any sense.
Yeah.
And so it's just funny to watch, like, just chaos ensue just because somebody can't handle the fact that, like, what they like has been put in any other light. And so for me, it's just... I just like that because the internet is so dumb, and if you take the world seriously, you're gonna find that you're very upset all the time on the internet. Like all the time. The internet sucks if you want to be serious.
100%. Dude.
The only thing you shouldn't be serious about is jokes.
Yep.
You should be very thoughtful about the jokes you make and think really, really, really hard. Everything else is completely silly, and do not think about it.
I think the internet is the internet. You're always gonna have these people. But I think in like the tech world, right, the tech Twitter, if you want to call it, I think the reason we see this is I truly believe a lot of people like allocate their personality and who they are to a piece of technology or program language that they use all the time. It's like if let's say TypeScript is Walmart C# and people are like, oh, like that's an insult. People who associate the entire like world to TypeScript are going to be offended because it's almost like you're offending them because of how closely affiliated they made themselves to be with the language. And I see this all the time in like my channel, right? Like I use Go all the time, or you use Vim and all these other things all the time, right? If someone says something about Go, I truly don't care. I don't even like flinch. I'm like, okay, cool, like sweet, because it's their opinion, and Go is just a language that I happen to use all the time. So I don't know. I've never understood this like super close association with something, like going, pitchforks out to defend it. If I see something, I'm just like, oh, okay. Some people are pissed. Like there's enough bad things in the world that can get me mad. I don't want to get involved in a Twitter debacle here.
Oh, I can totally understand it. I'm gonna be real with you for a second. I think Vim is great, right? Vim is great. All right. I know this is like not where you wanted to go with this, but I'm going there. I think Vim is a vastly superior editing experience.
Yep.
Okay. I also, on top of that, don't like Microsoft. I think Microsoft is always trying to steal your data and sell you as a product. And so I feel I feel intensely about it. and I don't want to do anything, and I just
what have I done?
What have you done? Exactly. What have you done? but it's true though. And so like I get why people can get feisty, because I think why it happens is if you like something enough and someone says something that's categorically wrong, it's just annoying more than anything else.
Okay.
Like when someone's just like, oh, the worst part about Go is if error equals nil. It's easy enough to nerd snipe me, though I will say no at this point. But it's just like, no, that's not Go's worst part, first off. Second off, that's actually good. Shut up.
Yep.
You just don't understand. You have errors riddled through your program. You just don't even know.
Yep.
Like, that's the difference. That's the difference between us. But really, like, if error equals nil is not the worst thing. Maps being nil when uninitialized, that's like clearly that's worse. And then
terrible.
You could use pointers that are nil and call functions on them. That's crazy.
Yeah, and
right?
compiles.
Like, it's just like one of these things where I'm just like, what the hell is happening here? Right?
Yeah.
Or the lack of algebraic types. I know. Again, it's just like, so I understand nerd sniping, right? Where you feel super upset about something. But at the same time, I try not to let it bother me either. What I realize is that what I like, someone likes some other version of it, and so I'm going to use it as like a fun way to like mess with somebody instead. Because then when they're like, Vim sucks, I'm just like, yeah, I'm glad I'm not just like, I don't have to sit there and be like, let me find my typo. I'm gonna right click on it now, and I want to go to definition. Okay, yeah. Typing speed doesn't matter. You can just, like I just like to pretend in my head that you're like the worst version of the other caricature. And then it's fun, and then it's funny to me.
And you just think they're inferior, right? You're just like, someone tried to
look down on my tower of Vim shortcuts.
Yeah. I was on your stream. Dude, I was on your stream like a month ago or something, and you were writing some Go code, but then you were trying to like highlight like four lines, and you're making it a macro, and it was like a fairly like, I don't know, complicated macro, I guess, and it took you like, let's just say for argument's sake like 2 minutes to write this macro, right?
Yeah.
And then all the comments in chat were like, you could have wrote this in like 20 seconds. And I find that funny. I was like, dude, like, who cares? Just like let him do his thing.
You're missing the point, which is to be able to do the thing.
Yeah.
Like that's the cool part, is the doing of the thing. Sometimes it's not like, why would someone climb a mountain? Okay, it's not like there's a good beer at top or some fun activity at the top. You're just climbing it for the sake of climbing it.
Yeah.
You're climbing it because you like it.
Yeah.
And so I want to do really bizarre macros because it's the point. It's like, that's what I did, the poop sign. I just realized I want macros, big macros. Yes, I just like it. I just like
it. Baby.
For no other reason than to enjoy the thing itself.
Lithium, thank you for the 10 gifted. Thank you. They will be gifted to ThePrimeagen after. All subs will be gifted to the Prime after.
No, false.
That is false. I'm straight up lying. Like no chance. No chance that's happening. But I'm gonna say it. Dude, have you told me when we were doing front end masters how you actually got into Vim? Like who was the person to actually get you into Vim? Have you ever told like your chat how that happened?
Bovard Taberi?
No. Not Bovard. I don't want to expose it. I mean, fuck it. I will at this point. That it was your wife, that she was actually using Vim first, and then she got you
Vim before me.
Yeah.
She did. But she didn't get me into Vim, but she did use Vim before me. Okay. So it was during the same time. So this was during the time of when my wife was working at a place called Zoot, which does automated credit processing. So if you go to like almost every car dealership, so if you go to a car delership in America and you buy a car and it goes, hey, you can have a loan. Zoot? It's run through something called Zoot, Zoot.
That's a new framework. Someone's going to make a framework called Zoot. 100%, man.
Nuts. I know.
Zoot these nuts.
It's happening right now, boys. But, okay, so that happened, and she had to use Vim. That's the only editor they supported. Like, that's that.
That's crazy. Why? Like, and in so what condition would that?
She's a business student, so she knew, like, oh, yeah, you got to do, like, Word, delete. You got to do all these kind of things. And I was just like, wow, I'm impressed that my wife figured that out, because when I was in college, whenever I saw someone like to adopt 2005 Prime mentality. When I saw someone use Vim, if it was 2005, I'd been like, wow, that's gay, right? Like that's like how my brain thought, right? Like I thought it was, like that was 2000 me. And so now it's like, obviously I've matured. I'm so much more mature now. And I would never say such a thing. But, like back then, that's who I was. It was a COD lobby at all points in my head, by the way. And so it's just like, it was awful. And I was just like, why would you ever use Vim? This is ridiculous. And it turns out it wasn't. Like, it's just, me just thinking it was ridiculous because I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I think the reason why it's so easy to nerd snipe me on Vim is because I was that person.
You were the person. Why are you using this? This is so lame.
Yeah, I was that person to be like, you are so stupid for using this.
Yeah.
And I had absolutely no idea.
But what did you mean that your wife used it before you, but she isn't the one that got you into Vim? Like, is it just like when you saw it, you're like, nah, that's lame. Like, I don't want to do that.
Well,
then afterwards,
no. Technically, Randall Reynolds was the guy's name. I went to college with him. He would use Vim.
Wait, what's his name?
Like, ain't no way, Randall. Okay, me and him did competitive programming together. We got first place in regionals. Okay, first place in regionals ACM. Let's go.
No.
And
our college experience is very different, Prime. Let me just tell you that. Our college experience was the most different thing I could think of. You and Rand
dropped out from doing too much acid. So it depends which year you're talking about when it comes to college experience. Okay, tough guy. I had sight problems for a decade from how much acid I did.
Just go in the middle, man. You're like, I'm either gonna do competitive programming with Randall, or I'm gonna do all the acid in the world. Just fucking do in the middle, man. Just program at night with Randall and do a couple of acids here and there. Like, why do you have to go?
Nope. There's only one or the other. I went all in on it, on all of them at the same time, every single time, right? And it was very stupid of me.
God.
But hey, that's who I am.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Love that about you.
But the person that how I got into Vim is obviously my wife did it.
My wife,
Randall loved it, and he loved it, and he was pretty fast at it, and I always thought that was kind of cool. I also really loved Age of Empires, and I really loved, what's it called? StarCraft at that point. So I was just like a huge fan of all those things. And so I was like, all right, I really want to try a more keyboard-centric thing, because when I was using NetBeans, I'd literally like hold Control Shift and I was able to jump so fast, and I'd just doing this the whole time, jumping to my arrow keys, doing that and going back to it. I was so good at it.
Yep.
So good at it. It would have been so impressive, dude. But that's what I looked like when I was typing. It was wild. So I was like, all right, I should probably give this Vim thing a try. And my coworker, Bovard Taberi, was like, hey, Prime. He didn't call me Prime. I didn't have the name Prime back then.
Right.
It was just my Xbox handle at that point, or my StarCraft 2 handle.
What were those handles?
My StarCraft 2 handle and my Xbox handle were ThePrimeagen at that point.
Oh,
Anyways,
okay.
Yeah. And then he was just like, hey, let's try to get good at Vim. And at that point, I was doing MIT Battle Code.
What's MIT Battle Code?
Another competitive coding.
Okay.
Yeah, I was into competitive coding.
Yeah, I don't think I knew that about
fact,
you. Yeah.
During that time, that MIT Battle Code, we were the first school to be a non-MIT school to qualify for the finals, and one of the people we played
Big
against,
Dubs,
Vegan Police, had Sam Altman and Backdoor Wang on it.
Okay.
I played in a friendly competition of mathematics and had dinner with Sam Altman before his evil arc.
Before he became cool? You were with Sam Altman before he was cool?
I wouldn't call him cool. Oh, not Altman. Sorry. No, sorry. Not wrong one. Sam Bankman-Fried.
Oh, ew.
Yeah.
Ew, that's terrible, bro. That's way worse.
I actually think that Sam Altman might be worse overall, but Sam Bankman-Fried is objectively worse right now. Okay, this is me predicting in the future versus in the past. But yes, I played a little friendly game of programming competitions with the man.
Ew, man, I could imagine that room. Probably, I can like visualize, like I can smell that room with Sam Bankman-Fried doing competitive programming in an MIT battle code environment. I could like, I can get that waft in there. You know when you open a Tupperware that you left in the back of your car for a little bit, when you open it, it like hits you with that like. That's what I just got right now, dude. It's like a waft of.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was sweaty nerds. There was no EXEs. It was just all sweaty nerds. It was fantastic.
Time of your life, baby.
I'm pretty sure that when we beat the vegan police, that sent him down his evil arc.
He's like, I gotta scam people now.
Yeah, he was just like, I need to get my pride back. And then from there on, he just kept on trying, and then eventually he lost.
He lost bad. He lost bad.
He was down bad.
Yeah.
Anyways, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, yeah, Vim. And so, yeah, we did a little challenge. Can I learn Vim? And by the time I got past W, B, and D, Y, and P, and then went to F.
Yep.
When I started hitting that F, it was over. Okay.
That's when it really felt groovy. I was an F boy
at that point. I was ready. Vim got me at that point. Yeah. And then after that, oh man, it was so good. It was so good.
How do you
so fast,
dude? How do you feel about like how influential you are in that Vim space? Because you got me into Vim, like, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who got into Vim because of your videos, because of your streams. But I got into Vim because I saw you, and I'm like, oh, this looks kind of cool. Like, let me try this out. Again, I could afford it because I had no idea what I was doing. Still don't know what I'm doing, but hey, it's fine. And I just got into Vim, and I was like, oh, sweet. Like, for some reason, everyone around me who streams on Twitch used Vim. It was you, it was TJ, and it was Began. And like, all three of you used Vim. Like, okay, well, if I want to be one of these guys, I have to go learn Vim. I was Vim curious. Yep. I was V curious. Exactly. And so I got into it. And now I just like, I would never call myself a good Vim user. I'm like very, very like vanilla stock Vim user. I just use it to move around, jump around, get my fingers nice and buttery. But at work, dude, I work with this guy, cool engineer. But every time you watch him, code is like, how come you never use your mouse? And I'm just like, Vim, baby, don't need to.
What's a mouse? I just don't want to use a mouse. It's fun.
Yeah.
I just like treating programming like a game. It's an infinite skill gap. Okay, some people build crank 90s in Fortnite. Some people know their Vim shortcuts. It's like the same thing.
Mm-hmm. One thing that you do on the topic of having fun, one thing that you do better than anyone, and I think this is a huge aspect of all the success you've had, man. Truthfully, it's like you have fun with what you do. And I was in your stream yesterday, and just like being there for like half an hour, like I couldn't help but smile because you were just having a goofy ass fun time. Like you clipped something, you got up, you did this weird like motion where you were bent down or something, and it was just fun to watch, man. It was just like genuinely like fun to watch because you were having fun. And the moans, Coder Girl was there. You kept moaning, you kept doing high pitch moans too.
Code Girl, don't be talking about that.
Yeah, you just kept moaning and stuff, and everyone's ear, like.
Don't be giving away the stream. All right, that's the secrets they get only when they go.
Oh, that's an exclusive perk. Yeah.
Licking the microphone now. Oh, dude, I'm not gonna lick my mic. That's the one thing I don't want to lick. I have my big giant keyboard, like my big version of this kind of keyboard. You can't even see it, can you? I'm not sure. I have like the big version of this one.
Oh, I have the same one.
Oh, you do? Yeah, I licked it, and it's just like you have to lick it for so long to get it done.
Ew, what are you even talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about right now. Oh, gee.
That's what I'm talking about, okay?
Okay. You literally just said you gotta lick it for so long to get it done, and I'm just like, oh, hey, yo, the tongue's drying up.
Look at it, it's still going.
Keep going, baby.
Yeah, it's still going. Yeah. I almost got 70 words a minute on it.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you even keyboard? Yeah, but sorry. Why do you keep doing this? You're like a shaman, man. You keep like mesmerizing me with all these weird things you're doing with your mouth and your tongue and your mustache. You have fun with what you do. How do you have fun with what you do? How do you keep having fun coding live, streaming live, reacting live, reading live, making videos? What is the secret to have so much fun, man? Like, genuinely. I know it's easy, like, oh, because I love doing it. But what would you tell someone who maybe is like approaching burnout and just kind of remind them, hey, have fun with what you're doing and be happy about it. How to have fun. Yeah, exactly.
I think the deep down
cocaine
little secret, besides for a dash of cocaine in the morning,
sprinkle,
is just a sprinkle. Just a sprinkle. Some people like cinnamon with their coffee. I like a little bit of the cocaine. Yeah. No, but I would say that, you know, when I was in the throes of having a really yucky life, back when I was a younger man, remember all the acid in the world and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like I had no hope. And so I don't have to live in that world anymore. And so it feels so good. I get to just be happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Simple as that.
One thing you said there is like you had no hope. Would you say now you have hope, or is there
I'm
like
a hopeful man.
You're a hopeful man.
A hopeful man.
And so do you just kind of like, because genuinely, like, this is something I really want to work on. Because I remember one comment you gave me like a year and a half ago. It really got to me. You're like, Melkey, you're just a grumpy man. And I was like, oh shit, like he's actually right. Like I'm like pretty grumpy sometimes. And I don't want that at all. Like I don't enjoy being grumpy, but it's tough. Sometimes you wake up and it's like, you know, something's sore. Like my foot's in the boot right now. You know, something else happens that we talked about. You know, shit happens in life, right? Like,
physical injuries are a really difficult thing too.
Yeah,
like
they are.
When you get, for me at least, and I assume for you too, since you're such an active person, they like really hurt my spirit.
I broke my perennial tendon, dude. I don't even know the peroneal tendon. Did you even know this existed in your foot?
Perennial is definitely not the word you're.
It's not the
use.
word.
I
it's
don't
not.
think so, no.
Did you ever?
I believe that's like a plant that comes back year after year as perennial.
Man, maybe it might as well be. But I heard this thing in your foot, and yeah. Anyways, and so yeah, things happen, man. Like life like takes a hold, and sometimes it's hard to be happy. It's hard to have that hopeful look. And so like, do you have to like reset yourself sometimes and be like, okay, I'm going through a pretty shitty path right now. Stuff's not working out as I want to. Do you have to kind of reset yourself? Like, you know what? It could always be worse. Or like, what's kind of the secret there to staying happy and being happy?
So I definitely don't think that trying to, you know, I don't really like the idea of it could be worse. Is typically not a way I operate.
Mm-hmm.
But instead trying to be thankful for what I have. Because Chesterton talks a lot about this, which is like the spirit of negativity. So he gives this example where he says, alcoholic, there's two alcoholics. One of them is cured because he realizes that drinking a bunch of alcohol is bad for you. So he stops being an alcoholic. The other person is cured because they look upon and gaze upon Mary, right? So Catholic Church style. And so he's like, which one is better? And he makes this long, very beautiful, very eloquent argument why the Catholic Church one is so much better versus the one of the person who just does it because it's bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
And like the general idea is that operating under this notion that that like constantly just cutting out things that are bad for you, all you are thinking about is the evil side of life. He even makes this really, really interesting claim, which is the first fall of man is when we learned about good and evil. And the second fall of man, it happened effectively like in the early 20th century, that all we know about is evil. We no longer even think about the good. We only think about like, oh, we don't do this because that's bad. Oh, we don't do that because that's bad. Like there's no, we do this because it's good. And so like this whole idea of like doing something because it's good has infected me, as opposed to like, I don't want to do that because it's bad. Whoa. I don't want to be grumpy because it's bad.
Right.
No. I want to be happy because like, look at how many things I am living a truly blessed life. No matter, even if I don't feel it in the moment, it's very, very blessed. And to look at like the positive side of things, not live in the spirit of negativity, but live in like a spirit of goodness.
That's actually crazy. That hit hard. Thank you. That was actually incredible because I don't know if you knew, but like last year I cut out all alcohol. Like your analogy hit me.
I do remember that because you weren't drinking at TwitchCon.
Exactly. Yeah. So all of 2023, I stopped drinking alcohol, and it's not because I had a problem. I really never had a problem with drinking or anything like that. I just thought to myself, I gotta remove the bad. I just thought like, oh, if I just remove all alcohol, my life will get better. Right? That's kind of like the approach I had to it. Like, of course, there's like health benefits, but it was never to the extent that it would be any benefits to my health if I were to quit out the amount of drinking I was doing. So I just did it because I was like, oh, it's quote unquote the right thing to do to eliminate this bad. But my life didn't change at all. Like the quality of my life, the happiness, and the positivity of my life was not impacted whatsoever. Right? It was just like I thought it's bad, so I stopped it. Whereas like I didn't focus on the good. And maybe the alcohol thing is not the best example, but it's really like I haven't been thinking of the good enough, which is probably why sometimes I could get grumpy and sometimes, you know, shit hits the ceiling sometimes.
Yeah.
Deep.
And because I think Kogro said something about soda. I've seen a lot of people say a lot of things about like soda or this, and you'll definitely feel a lot better. Okay, looking a little thick right there. You'll definitely
yeah.
You'll definitely what's it called? You'll always feel like you can feel better not drinking.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if you're drinking a lot, you'll feel better if you eat right and sleep well, as opposed to like not doing those things. Like that's like such a easy way to get to feel good.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's just it doesn't really change your life.
Exactly.
And so there has to be more than just simply
a deeper
avoiding doing the bad, right?
Yep.
Like that. It just doesn't. Because what's the point in the end, right?
Exactly.
You know, I think what's it called? The Apostle Paul says, you know, like if what we're doing isn't true, then we are the most cursed people of all, because we should just be eating, sleeping, and having fun.
Yeah.
Right? Like it makes you think about like the reason why you do the things you do. It's like
for real.
There has to be something more than just like I don't drink soda because soda's bad.
100%.
I don't drink alcohol because alcohol's bad.
Yeah.
I quit doing LSD because LSD makes you see things for the rest of your life. Right? Like you gotta have a little.
It's true. There has to be a deeper reasoning. And why I wanted to segue, why I pulled this picture up is because I remember like last year, even like a little bit before last year, you really started focusing on your health. Like you started to focus more on like working out, getting in those workouts. I remember one thing you really told me that was interesting was your workouts aren't like traditional workouts. Where let's say I go to the gym, it's like a 1 hour gym session. I'm doing like this, that, whatever. Your gym sessions, I don't know if they've changed, but they're like shorter, like maybe 15, 20 minutes, but you go hard in the paint in those 20 minutes. Like you lift until failure. And so that aside, like what was kind of the reasoning for you to get in shape? Because you have like from the first time I ever met you to now when I saw you earlier this year, like you look phenomenal, look great. You're building up muscle. You're staying on track with it. Like what was the underlying factor? Yeah. Flex a little bit. What was the underlying factor for you to get so motivated to start working out?
The underlying factors that I wanted to be there and physically fit for my kids. And then obviously number two, that my wife finds me attractive and wants
my wife.
So, you know, I wanted to be there because the kids, obviously, they're definitely going to need me to be there, especially as my boys age out and they get into their middle years and I have to like punch the shit out of them.
Of course.
Like I'm just going to have to. It's just a fact, you know. But then I also needed to do it because, you know, I think my wife appreciates me in shape.
Yeah.
She said she likes back muscles, so I started getting some back muscles. You know, I'm starting to try to get in there.
Yeah. That's phenomenal, man. That's
yeah.
You're gonna do MMA with your kids, boxing matches at dinner.
Yeah, I mean the thing is I can my oldest is already starting to do it. He walks by and just slugs me in the arm. And so I'll just turn around. I'll just punch him. I mean, it's just like classic. I don't know what's wrong with young men.
Yeah,
we're just so broken. But you know, he's 10 years old and he just like wants to fight. And so what I'm gonna do is now whenever I walk by him, I literally throw him in a chokehold.
Just mess him up a little bit. Double leg takedown
every single time.
Yeah, there's a little mess up.
I'll like hold him down and just punch him right on his cheeks. Just
oh
like,
my god!
Bap, bap, and then he'll just be like, ah! And then he'll turn around and he'll just punch me because he just loves it, because that's just like that's his life and that's what he thinks is fun.
It's actually on site with you and your 10-year-old. Your 10's like, hey, good morning, Dad.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Kids love it. That's the thing, is that like my kids love it.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not putting him in a chokehold, he's just like, Dad, is everything okay?
He's like, why aren't you beating me up right now?
Then he'll like punch me once, be like, you good?
Do
like
a leg
everything's
kick?
okay? You know, it's just his love language. He wants to wrestle. He wants to crush things.
Dude, I mean, you saw us do BJJ over at Dax's at React Miami.
So much BJJing.
That was so much BJJing.
I always wish I invested more time into the fighting techniques.
Yeah.
I just know that I just have to, you know, the old wrist. I got to be super careful.
Yeah, you have a messed up wrist.
Injuring it, and I don't want to. I just don't want to push it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ever since, you know, when I was young and I did a bunch of meth and failed out of college and I had to go get a job to pay back my college debt, I did dishwashing, and that's really where everything screwed up, and I've had wrist pain ever since then, just holding a washer like that. So it's only my right wrist. My left wrist has no pain in it. And so it's just like that squeezing for 6-8 hours at a time and just doing that, it just really screwed everything up.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people don't. Well, a lot of people probably do know, but that's actually one of the motivating factors for you to get like an ergonomic keyboard. Was like you actually have like severe wrist pain. If exactly, same keyboard.
This right here. Hey, what was it? Is it code Melkey? Melkey 15?
Melkey 15, baby. Melkey 15.
Let's go, Melkey 15. Let's go.
Yeah, you hooked that
really.
one up.
That's. I learned Dvorak because I thought, why would I ever pay money for a keyboard? And I did Dvorak because it was half the distance your hands would travel when typing the Constitution of the United States of America. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to reduce the amount of distance I travel, therefore helping. And it did. It actually did help my wrist some. Yep. But then it kept happening. So that's when I went to my friend. I had 3 friends: Evers Ding, Jafar Hussein, and Guy Sereno. You may know Guy Sereno.
Oh, yeah.
Some coding guy.
Another guy in chat. Yep.
Yeah, some coding guy. Nice try, guy. They all 3 had the kinesis advantage too.
Okay.
So I started trying it. And I was just like, see? And then I realized the thumbs were so important. That's why I've always had that requirement that thumb clusters is by far the most important first thing. Anything beside, like, doesn't matter anything else you do. If you don't have thumb clusters, that's the first thing you should do. And I immediately felt such a huge W with my wrist is having thumb clusters. Because control and all that, like that constant reaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find the most impactful one for me is the concavity. Like I went from a Moonlander, which was my first split keyboard, to the Kinesis. The thing that stuck out the most is definitely the concavity. That like was a game changer. Like it's so crazy how your hands literally like slide in there. Like that's the best way I can explain it. They just like fit and everything just works. Sometimes it still like good. Yeah, it feels really good. It feels incredible. To get that smooth.
So thumb clusters are. These are thumb clusters right here.
Yeah.
Your thumbs use them as opposed to your like typing with your fingers.
Yeah. Game changers.
And I typed on a bunch of keyboards. I tried the Ergodox. When you said you're getting the Moonlander, I said, yo, I got the Ergodox. You should definitely do the Kinesis. Trust me, it's worth it.
Yeah.
And you were just like, nah, man, Moonlander's all RGB.
I did say that. Yep. Quote. That's an actual quote. It is.
Actually, I think the thing is you got it because I told you not to.
I got it. And it started building like this image because you were like the Kinesis guy and I was the Moonlander guy. And I'm like, oh, this is dope. Like I'm X guy. So I'm like, I'm going to keep it. Like whatever. Like it's not bad. And then I got the Kinesis and then it was way better. Way better.
It is.
You were right. You were right.
Anyways, I always suggested like, even if you don't, like, because obviously you have a coupon code for the Kinesis, Melk 15. Like even if they don't use that, and they go and build a dactyl. Go build a dactyl. Even if you don't want to do that and you want to purchase a Glove 80, go buy a Glove 80, right? Like don't type on a flat keyboard because by the time you're like 40, a huge percentage of people are going to be getting knocked out of the game because they have all this wrist pain and everything. And it's really scary. When I was 28 years old, I started getting wrist pain. And I had my second kid on the way. I'm at Netflix a year and a half into it. I'm sitting there thinking, what if I have to quit? And someone's saying, yeah, they're just so expensive, though. They're absolutely expensive. I'm 100% on your team. Yep. They're outrageously expensive.
They are.
But what is more expensive was the 10 to 20 years I was about to lose off my working career. That is just much more expensive.
Mm-hmm. Prime, I don't know how much time you have. I don't know if we're at time. I have one question left, but if you gotta go, you gotta go.
That's fine. We can do one more.
Cool. The thing, and this is kind of segueing on what you just said. It's like the career and thinking of your career and like the longevity of it. Obviously, you worked at Netflix for 10 years, right? Almost
10 and a half, yeah.
10 and a half years. Not a big deal. Not a big deal.
NBD dog.
And then you made the decision to go full time into content creating, and you close a chapter of the Netflix book for right now, momentarily. Who knows what the future may hold? Whatever. Don't want to speculate. But how has that gone for you? How has this new chapter in this stage of your life? How's it all worked out? How do you feel about it, man? Like how are you doing with all that? Because that was a crazy life decision you made. Yeah. And I think all of us who've been watching you, supporting you, are like super happy that you made it. But like, want to ask you, like, how is that going for you, man?
Well, so I'd say the weird part is that I felt like I am no longer young.
Huh.
And what I mean by that, by the way, thank you, anonymous gifter, for what appears to be the 10 gifted subs.
Thank you 10. Yeah, and Lithium, thank you for T1. Thank you.
So much tea going on here. High tea chat right now.
Goddamn tea.
So the thing that happened was that when I joined Netflix without a kid. And
Nate, thank you for 5 T1s. Sorry, Prime.
It's okay. This is great. This is fantastic.
Yep. No, I want to hear what you're saying. Yep.
I joined Netflix without a kid. I had my first kid at Netflix. I had my second kid at Netflix. I had my third kid at Netflix, and I had my fourth kid at Netflix.
Wow.
And then I continued to work at Netflix for a couple years after that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I quit, it was kind of like the last thing that I had that still reached all the way back before I was a father, right? Because I left my home state.
Yeah.
I had my house and my life in Bozeman, Montana, and then that obviously went away when I went to go work for Netflix, and so that was gone, and so that's gone. That's gone before I ever got there. So I had to move to South Dakota when COVID happened. I wanted to get out of California. I never really liked it, and so I got out of California. I'm in South Dakota, so that's not a place of my childhood. That's a place of my adulthood. I never had any other thing. So my life has always been in this new kind of adult mode, except for Netflix. Netflix was just that last little bit of when I was a young fella.
Right.
And then
it was a tie. It was like a tie. Like it tied you back to when you joined as a complete young fella and built your whole life, growing the family, having the kids. But Netflix was like the thing that stayed the same throughout all the different things you were moving on, right?
Yeah. And so it was unique. It was, part of me was a little sad, Still sad.
Yeah, it definitely, like, even when you explaining it, I kind of almost felt like a note of sadness in your voice. So yeah, I know, I can only imagine how big of a deal it was and like the risk, everything associated to it. But like, how has like that journey come now? Like the other side, right? Like you left Netflix and now you've been, how many months has it been now? Maybe like 2, 3. Couple months, 4 or 5.
It's been a little bit over 2 months.
Yep.
It's been good. It's been great. I could not have been happier. I see Trash Dev in the chat. He's still a loser.
Shout out Trash Dev.
Shout out Trash Dev, loser. But it was definitely an amazing experience. I'll let you go for a second.
Defias, thank you for the 20 T1s. That came out of nowhere. That's the Primeagen effect, man. I don't know what you do, but holy, thank you so much for all the gift subs. Nate codes, I saw that you gave 5 as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. On-screen celebration by Sergeant Pepper. Appreciate all the love, guys.
Oh, this is the first time I've seen an on-screen celebration. Look at that.
Yeah, they're cool. They're actually pretty cool. I know the guy who built one component of it, the chat component. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, so the thing that I really like is the fact that I get to go out there and build what I want to build and what I think is really interesting to me and all of that, and to be able to pursue these things that I've always wanted to pursue and to really give myself a whole effort. Because one thing that just absolutely sucked was trying to do a stream, trying to do all of that and doing it all together and just constantly living in this, like, doing both job and streaming to a 75% as opposed to doing it at 100%.
Right.
And I've just found that I was just constantly under this swirl of just like never quite being fully engaged in either. Yeah. And so I was very happy that when I made the jump, at least I get to be engaged in one thing.
Yeah. Because there's so many other things that you do. Like again, the whole family thing, maintaining like your land, your home, all this stuff. Those are all the stuff that like don't get like tracked down from like our perspective, but they're all the things that you have to do to like live your life. Like outside the Primeagen life, you still have your responsibilities and duties as a husband, father, family man, all that, right? So yeah, it was always like crazy how you were balancing things. And then, like I said, man, when you took that dive, that plunge into 100% content, it it did seem like you had like one foot in the door of like Netflix 75% and the other one was 75% content, and now you went full content. And yeah, I mean, we're all supporting you. I think it was the best decision, man.
I hope so. I think it's a new chapter in life, and I guess I'm very happy about that. I want the new chapter. You know.
Yep. I mean, you did it.
Maybe I'll live
Netflix
to regret it. But I don't think I will. I honestly don't think I'm gonna live to regret any of it. I think I'm just gonna have a very nice enjoyment.
Good. I think we want to be there to watch you enjoy it all. But hey, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Apple 9000, thank you for the 2 gifted subs. Thank you. Prime, I am sorry for being late for the podcast I invited you to join. I thought it was 11:30 a.m. PST, but it was 11 a.m. PST. I'm a dingus, all right? I'm an absolute dingus. I was like, 11:30, like, why are you like messaging me now? Because I'm an idiot. It happens. It happens. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and raid Pirate Software. He is definitely still streaming. I was lurking in his chat earlier today. Prime, thank you for coming on. Thank you for kind of talking more open, giving us some of that life advice. And like, thank you for giving me some of that life advice that you kind of do on stream, but even behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know. I come to you when things when I need a little, some guidance here and there. So I appreciate everything you do for everyone.
Probably point you downwards.
What? Oh, you're pointing downwards? I see. I see what you're doing there. I see what
put our tips together. Here,
yeah. Can we do it? How do you?
Other hand.
Other hand. Where? Am I doing it? Okay. Something there. I can't do it. My camera. We're going to go raid Pirate Software. Thank you everyone for watching. We are going to, this is going to be on YouTube eventually. Big shout out to Prime. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll be back sometime. I don't know when. And I still have Prime sock. That's still in my collection. He still has my sock. I don't know what he does. I think his wife washed the sock and you guys threw it out, which is crazy. I wanted that sock back, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah. Bye. Stop streaming.